Hello and welcome to a new video on this channel. I will continue my journey and will discuss the things that happened after the destruction of the Kiev Rus. The Duchy of Novgorod and the Duchy of Moscow united in one Russian Empire, which was formerly not a Russian Empire but the Great Duchy of Novgorod. Poland and Lithuania and Western Belarus united in the Great Duchy of Lithuania, which was later destroyed by Russia. And they joined forces and got into a war with Sweden, actually. Mongolian Khanates were destroyed by Russian ruler Ivan. There was the other ruler, but he pretty much was the old relict of the Rurik dynasty and he did nothing important. He just united Novgorod and Moscow. He was just a relict of the Rurik dynasty and did nothing important, and then came Ivan and just fucked everything. Bro, he fucked everyone around his borders. First, he destroyed the Crimean Khanate, pretty much, and all other Khanates who were left over by the Mongols. And Russia took the territory and was suddenly much bigger than the Lithuanian Dutchy, and stole border cities from them, actually, which led to the Lithuanians to team up with Sweden against Russia, and Sweden betrayed them later. Captured Narva, the Swedish capital, and Russian troops also captured Polish-Lithuanian border cities, which led to the Lithuanians and Swedish counter-attacking. At the end, Russia had to leave their territories they captured, and the Polish had to, and the Lithuanian Dutchy had to give up the Russian territories they captured. But everything was resetted as it was at the start. Just 50,000 Polish-Lithuanian soldiers were dead, and I think, according to Wikipedia, 6,000 men of the Russian army died on the storm on Narva. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Russia weakened its enemies without a full-scale war, gained territories, but had to give up territories they conquered. And yes, that was all what Ivan did. He just clapped Sweden, clapped Finland, clapped Lithuania, clapped Poland, and killed a bunch of Polish and Lithuanian soldiers without having big casualties, and then died. And the Duchy of Tver, which lasted only a few years but existed. Tver is a city which is older than Moscow and is in the near of Moscow, which was a duchy which had made trade. It was a trade union which made trade with Novgorod, but they allied themselves with the Khanates and the Khans, which were still existing even after the downfall of the Mongolian Empire. And they allied themselves with them and murdered a Russian ruler, and that's because the Russian army invaded the city and pretty much destroyed the complete Duchy of Tver and made the city a Russian territory. And yes, because the ruler of Tver, Yaroslav, killed a Russian female ruler, which was essentially ruler in the first days of the Russian Duchy in 1300. We are messing up the time of Moscow. Pretty much was created by warriors which came from the Duchy of Rostov, Sustal, and many other today Russian cities which were independent duchies at that point, to create an empire in the area which is completely independent from the Mongolians, because many Mongolian Khanates were still existing before the Russian Empire pretty much destroyed all of this. But yeah, they wanted to get independent from the Mongolians and destroy the remaining Khanates, and yeah, they all came together in Moscow. The Duchy of Nizhny Novgorod was pretty much a duchy in the area which doesn't wanted to be a part of this, and pretty much resisted against all of this, and was very much collaborating with the Mongolians, the Tatarians, the Crimean Khanate, all of this. And yeah, they just sent a bunch of soldiers there and annexed the city. They just destroyed the complete duchy of Nizhny Novgorod. Came Ivan the First, who pretty much won against Alexander from Tver, and he became the ruler of Moscow after the killing of the other guy, and he pretty much became the first ruler to be independent from the Mongolian Empire. He was the one who achieved the first victory against the Mongol army in Kulikovo Pole, and he made the greatest accomplishments and built the fundament of the complete defeat of the Mongol army in the later stages of the war. There were literally 30,000 against 100,000 Mongols, and they still won. Bro, the Mongols are so fucking weak. How could they capture all this territory? Nobody fought back. No one was know who strong they are. They just don't fought back and let themselves capture because they don't want a war. And now someone stands up to them and actually fights back with a big amount of troops, and they just win against 150,000 army with 40,000 troops. That's just impressive, bro. They built a statue in Nizhny Novgorod. The Russian general stands on the Mongolian general after the defeat. They make just fun of them. Try to help the Mongols and stop them from getting defeated, but they were too late, and as they arrived, all Mongol soldiers were already dead, and they had to return to avoid a war with the Duchy of Moscow, which they would definitely have lost. The Mongolian general flew in the Crimean Khanate after his army was completely destroyed, and he just got poisoned. He just got poisoned after he already flew a lost battle. He got poisoned in his own territory. Bro, that is the biggest defeat I ever seen in my life. Dmitry Donskoy, the general, left Moscow with his troops to Nizhny Novgorod. The Mongolian troops raided Moscow and just killed 24,000 civilians and left the city. They don't capture it, they just killed 24,000 civilians because they couldn't accept their defeat. Bro, the Mongolians, I hate you. Captured the Byzantine Empire. Russia became the Duchy of Moscow became pretty much to the last empire, to the last Orthodox empire which remained, and old Byzantine royals who flew married in the Russian royal bloodline, and Moscow became pretty much to the biggest Orthodox hotspot in the world. Ivan III was, after all, the greatest Russian empire. He annexed Pskov from the Lithuanian Polish Duchy and annexed Novgorod pretty much without battle, and he was 34 years in power, which Putin could challenge today.
Русь молодая, силы немерено, дайте коня мне да добрый меч. Ратью пойдем да погоним ворога. Русь молодая, сердцу дорога, да не пристало нам сидеть пока. Там дайте коня мне да добрый меч. Было это, братцы, давным-давно, черные силы пришли войной.
And the last remaining Khanate, the Khanate of Kazan, became a Russian puppet state. Clear. All the effort of the Mongolian Empire paid off by nothing. Battle of Vedrosh. The Russian army had a final battle with the Lithuanian Polish Dutchy and captured a huge amount of territory under a famous general. And I found a funny quote from an author who wrote a book about this topic. He's the Lithuanian ruler, the Polish Lithuanian ruler, spent his entire life capturing all this territory, and then the Russians come and capture all of this in one battle. And the Lithuanian Polish Dutchy suffered big casualties. Their general was sent to a prison in the territory of the Moscow Dutchy, and they had 30,000 troops, 8,000 are dead. The Russian army had the same amount of troops, 30,000, and none casualty. They had not a single casualty in the entire battle, and carried the complete battle, and they captured most of eastern and parts of western Ukraine, parts of eastern Poland, and parts of eastern Lithuania, Estonia, and the eastern Balticum, as I would say. In one battle, Russia captured huge amounts of territory and killed huge amounts of enemy soldiers. And the Russian Empire finally is free from the Mongol oppressors, finally won battles, repelled the invasion, captured the lost territory, and now is winning war and war against their neighbors.